everybody, What Culture Wrestling's Adam Clery here, back again with another exciting installment of NXT Ups and Downs, and let me tell you, I am absolutely furious. Yeah, like hashtag first world problems, but the idea of them moving NXT a day forward, not like throwing it to a Saturday or something wild, just moving it a day forward has absolutely thrown my week completely out of whack. And here in the UK, it was a bank holiday on Monday. So I've only been back in work a day, and now I have to do NXT. So my brain is automatically telling me, it's the weekend soon. I've got to rein in that excitement, push down those endorphins, make myself be more miserable than I actually am, all because NXT had to have their little Super Tuesday. So what's that? Get a grip? Yeah, alright, fair enough. This week coming up, what do we have? We had loads of unannounced matches, but more importantly than that, the biggest, bestest, baddest Battle Ballway for the BNXT Championship between Bin Balor, Tommaso Ciampa, Baden Bowl and Bonnie Barbano. Something on my lip there. Yes, the 60-minute Fatal 4-Way Iron Man match, a first ever in WWE history. That was the focal point of the entire episode, but don't worry, not the focal point of the entire ups and downs, because other matches happened. It's my job to give them the same due care and attention, sort of, that I'll be giving the spectacular stuff. And yes, that is the intro. It's the best I can do on a Wednesday. My name is Adam Clery, and these are all the ups and downs for this week's episode of NXT. Right, now before I start, I just want to explain why there's no yellow jacket this week. A, because Wednesdays I actually wash my clothes so they're ready for gimmicks on a Thursday, but also because I'm assigning it not to an up or a down this week, but to Mauro Ranallo, who it was announced is leaving WWE by mutual consent. Now, a few people have asked me, Adam, why did you stop doing Ranallo body talks like that on the show? And that's because I met somebody in real life who was like, I love it when you make fun of how dumb Mauro Ranallo's calls are. And I was like, wait there, buddy. I'm not making fun of him. I like Mauro Ranallo. I really like Mauro Ranallo. He's the voice of NXT to me. He makes things more exciting. I just find some of the stuff he comes out with really funny, so I wanted to highlight that. So I thought people thought it was a bad thing, so I got rid of it because I really like him and he's really, really good. Now I know he's divisive because a lot of people think that stuff is lame and hokey and whatever, but it's pro wrestling. Like, it is kind of lame, it is kind of hokey, and I think Mauro is a great colour commentator. He is going to be missed, and for his almost an entire year's worth of service here at NXT, I would like to award him a honorary permanent yellow jacket. Well done, Mauro. Excited to see where you end up next. Alright, so your first match is a 6-man tornado tag street fight between El Legado del Fantasma and Breezango and Isaiah Swerve Scott. Now, for a match that is basically what I've just said, you are right, it is a complete mess. Just an aside here, I actually really like it when pro wrestlers get into a street fight and decide to wear more gear, decide to wear more equipment, decide to wear more padding, because that's, like, they've thought about that, haven't they? Like, I'm not going to be rolling around on a mat and doing suplexes, I'm going to be getting hit with kendo sticks. I might wear a t-shirt. It sells the believability and the danger before they've even started for me, so big fan. Like I said, there was a complete mess, and fair play to the guys. Rather than trying to craft out some story or pull back to this and do that, they just basically got together and went, what spots would be the most fun to do? So they threw each other over the ropes, they hit each other into the barricades, and then, as the match peaked, Fandango and Swerve, they got on a forklift truck and cleaned out everybody in the ring, which now for some reason included Imperium. And you know what? You kind of have to turn your brain off to enjoy this match, and you kind of have to turn your brain off to sort of understand the booking, even though Swerve did get to pin Escobar, so technically you can start thinking about doing another match for the Cruiserweight Championship, and getting Imperium involved was a bit messy, but I guess if you can do the tag team stuff, it does all kind of work. As I say, a complete mess, but an enjoyable one nonetheless. Up. I don't know, maybe it was the dollar store pixie wings, maybe it was the 3-minute runtime, maybe it was the weird Jersey Shore style promo package, but for whatever reason, Candice LeRae versus Kacy Catanzaro felt about as flat as the globe on AJ Styles' mantelpiece. Don't get me wrong, for a quick squash designed purely to set up an in-ring promo, it probably over-delivered as a wrestling match, but that might be because Catanzaro is such a unique competitor. Every single time she steps in the ring, she's probably worth watching, but it's just, the problem with this match and the problem with this whole feud with Nox is we've just literally done this exact thing. You see, Tegan and Candice, they were best friends and they went all over the world together, and they were more than just buddies, they were like sisters and they supported each other through the hard times. But now, it's so sad, you see, because Candice has changed and she doesn't care about her friends. She wants the opportunities that were held from her, and she's gonna kick ass until she gets them. Now go listen to that back, but replace the word Candice with Dakota. See the problem? Bottom line, Tegan Nox is a sensational wrestler, Candice LeRae is a sensational wrestler, and there are a million better uses of the pair of them than retreading the same "what happened to you, sis" storyline we've sat through all year. Down. Not going to give an up or a down here for this one, because if you recall me saying that I didn't really mind what was happening with Rhea Ripley or Mercedes Martinez and who was getting the win here and who was getting the win there and who looked good here and who looked good there, because I suspected it was all just leading to a very violent blow-off match somewhere down the line. You just say, yeah, you remember that, don't you? Well, allow me to opine the following. Yes. Alright, now every so often, two wrestlers will walk down to the ring in NXT for an unscheduled, unadvertised match, and once they are both standing there, I will quietly mutter, "Oh God, no," under my breath. Now what I'll do that for is for two wrestlers who are both on the ascendancy in terms of their stature in the brand, but who have both just had either a losing feud or just haven't got a big win in a while. And I look at that situation of putting them both in the ring and think, that's a lose-lose situation. Like, one man really needs that win, but the other's going to be really, really hurt by losing this specific match. So you can't actually win from a booking perspective. And the reason I'm telling you this is not because I'm in love with the sound of my own voice, or not entirely because of that. Anyway, it's because when I saw Reed and Thatcher standing across the ring from each other, I made that noise. I was like, oh, no, bad decision. See, both of these men felt like they were in line for a big push very recently. Like, Reed picked up that big triple threat win in the qualifier for the North American Championship ladder match, and Thatcher had all those training school packages while he was squashing half the roster, and it felt like both of them were going for big things. And then recently, they've lost, which is fine because you can't go and win every single feud you're on, but think about it. Both of these two are supposed to be going above the level they're each on, so whoever wins goes back to square one, if that makes sense. But nonetheless, I am giving the match an up. Yes, because I thought it was going to be a disaster and a terrible idea, but somehow both of them have come out of this with something to actually do. Like, yes, Reed lost, but he is the sympathetic babyface in this scenario, and he only lost because of an interference spot from Austin Theory, who he can now go and feud with. And Thatcher didn't just pick up like a scamp roll-up. Oh, he stole one there win. He still got him back in the ring and made him tap, basically reminding you that the guy is really, really mean. So this is a win-win. Thatcher moves on in terms of his standing, although he hasn't actually got anything to do at this point. And Reed, well, he moves on in terms of having something to do, even if this match hurts his standing. That's really good, sensible booking. Alright, here it is, your 60-minute Iron Man fatal four-way main event thing. And this is such a big match. Such a big match. The biggest match NXT have done on TV, both in the scale of it, because going on for an hour, and the scope of it, because it's got 4 former champions in, that I have to break this up into 3 parts. You can see it there? 3 parts. I'm going to talk about the setup of it, because that's important. I'm going to talk about the execution of it, because that's important. And finally, I'm going to talk about where it leaves us in terms of the brand as a whole. And each one of those points will get its own up or down. God, how is this free? Alright, so to begin with the setup. Despite these men all being the linchpins or the standard bearers or the cornerstones or the icons or the tent poles or whatever the hell they were according to commentary, and the prestige they all have, this match just did not quite feel right to me. Look, I did a little bit of maths going into all this, right? And these 4 men make up 22%, nearly a quarter of the entire lineage of that NXT championship. And between them, the 4 of them have held that belt for nearly 33%, like 32%, a third of its entire lineage. That is insane. And despite everything commentary was saying, despite those incredible statistics that I, a genius, have researched ahead of this video, none of them are coming into this match like hot or over or really feeling like they deserve it. Like, all 4 of these men lost their last meaningful match in NXT. Like, Gargano was in that ladder match for a supposedly lesser belt and he lost there. Balor didn't even get that far. I know we worked Thatcher and won at the pay-per-view, but he got beat off Dream in that qualifier. Ciampa was off TV because he got squashed by Karrion Kross, and Adam Cole lost the belt to Keith Lee in an era of no automatic rematches. Yes, he beat Pat McAfee, but he's an NFL player! Like, you telling me that if Pat McAfee beat Adam Cole, he would be in this match? Is that what you're telling me? If Jake Atlas had beat Tommaso Ciampa, he would be in this match? Like, how do you square the current booking landscape of NXT with this match? Like, it was so exciting that it still got a pop when it was announced, but like, how did the other people who lost that ladder match understand why Gargano's in this and they're not? Like, if Timothy Thatcher had beat Finn Balor, would he be in this match? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And the thing is, the reason this gets it down is because, yes, the simple answer is these are just much bigger stars than any of the other people they have been wrestling lately, but it's that kind of booking of just going, who is our big star, that led to WWE wanting Batista and Randy Orton in the main event of WrestleMania 30, not Daniel Bryan. Like, yes, Bronson Reed is not having a yes movement moment right now, but going with just who they like and who is the draw over, who deserves this is bad, and it gets it down. Now, while all that is true, like I said, it did still get a massive pop when it got announced, and indeed when people were like, oh, this doesn't make sense on social media, the immediate reply was, yeah, alright, but who cares? Like, look at how cool that match is going to be. And to be fair, ice cream does rot your teeth, but it's still delicious. There are big problems going into this, and as I will discuss, there are big problems coming out of it, but the actual match itself was spectacular. It was an hour long, and it was spectacular. Not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but spectacular. The sequence immediately after Gargano got his fall and leading into Cole's was just brilliant. The constant references to DIY and the Bullet Club were really subtle and clever. Commentary constantly putting over this idea of conditioning and having a physical lead over your opponents. The finish, even though it got an almighty what out of me, was still brilliant pro wrestling in the way the final seconds were executed. Like, there's a lot to not like about this match, but there is so much to love. Sure, it could have been tighter. Sure, it could have had more energy. Sure, it didn't need to spend an entire 15 minutes up in a tiny little section of the screen while I had the idea beamed into my brain that I'm definitely going to order a Subway for lunch, but still, how many wrestling brands in the world can put on a match as good as this? None, I don't think. The match itself gets an up. But it still will be labelled divisive in the coming weeks because of that ending, because of the booking decision it left into. And that doesn't ruin the match for me, but it does need to be discussed, and the reasons why they've done that need to be discussed. So the problem here, and before I say this, and before you get incensed in the comments about it, right, please bear in mind, I love NXT. I really love doing this show. I'm the one who walks around the office going, isn't NXT brilliant, right? But the problem is, the reason we are in this situation is because NXT has not built any stars in a year. Balor versus Cole could have happened in the very first week this show was on the USA Network, and unarguably, to be quite honest, both men are in lesser standing now than they would have been then. Don't get me wrong, Keith Lee is the obvious reply to this, and you know what? He was a star. They built him on the USA Network. He was just this incredible performer throughout that winter. He made NXT a legitimate thing next to Raw and SmackDown. He somehow survived the chaos of 2020, but he's not here. Like, apparently all of that build was just so Karrion Kross could beat him, and then they could transition him into a tank top on the main roster. So, where is he? And for all that good work they put into Lee, and for everything Kross gained by beating him, NXT, a year almost after they debuted on the USA Network, does not have any new stars that in September 2020 they can use. That is the fact of the matter. Cameron Grimes, Rhea Ripley, Dominik Dijakovic, Tegan Knox, Shotzi Blackheart, Timothy Thatcher, Bronson Reed, anybody who has either emerged or debuted over the last 12 months is not a main eventer in NXT right now. Like, they haven't got any other main eventers besides Gargano, Cole, Ciampa, and Balor, who were the four men who closed out the first episode. They have done nothing with the rest of the roster since then. And the thing is, even those four men, can you honestly say any of them feel like a bigger deal now than they did 12 months ago? I don't think they do. I think if anything, they feel like a lesser deal now than they did 12 months ago. And while you get away with it because these matches are so good and so exciting to watch and they just pull it out their arse when they need to, that's a really worrying thing going forward, because You need to make stars. Like even Io Shirai, who feels like she's had the best 12 months of anybody on this brand. She was still like in the women's title picture in late 2018. They've not made her a star in the last 12 months, even if she's a bigger deal than she was in the last 12 months. Like she could have been main eventing back then as much as she could be main eventing now. Like this is worrying, really worrying. That 1 year anniversary of moving to the USA Network is 2 weeks away, and really, other than loads and loads and loads of good matches, what does NXT have to show for it? That's the big question for me. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. It feels like they've made a lot of good memories, but not a lot of stars, or any for that matter, so down. And you know what? I'd quite happily be proved wrong about this. So if there's somebody on that roster you think they've genuinely taken from nothing 12 months ago and made into a huge deal right now, please do get me on Twitter at Adam Clery, because I don't want to be right about that. I want that to be something that I've just not thought through. I want to be wrong about this because I do genuinely love NXT. The sad thing about it. But that's it for this week, so let me know what you made of all of these points and more in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. In the meantime, though, that was the first ever Super Tuesday of NXT. I'll be back for Super Tuesday next week, although I'll be back on Wednesday, so it's like Super Tuesday and also Wednesday. I'll be back for also Wednesday this time next week. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. I've, of course, been Adam Clery. This has been WhatCulture WWE, and I will see you soon. Yeah, why not? Goodbye.